Hello guys, you're from Sharp 11 Music here. Today we'll be looking at a Sonny Stitt Lick of the week. And this one is taken out of his solo on There Is No Greater Love, which I recently uploaded on the channel completely, so go and check that out. The lick I chose is One Over the Bridge, which is kinda in E minor, the relative minor of G major. I'm talking for E flat instruments because Sonny Stitt plays an alto solo here, but it doesn't really matter. I think you can take the concept on any instrument really. So let me play that lick that I like to show you and like to explain how it works a bit. So, what's that about? That last part I'll leave out. It's more about the pattern that you will see in bar 20. It starts on a high E and then it comes down in a minor major fashion towards the major 7 of an E minor we are on. From there on you can see him play a pattern that actually consists of diminished and then switching between diminished and then the E minor and then diminished, E minor, diminished. Let me explain. What he does actually is, I think he really thinks linear over this B part, which is an E minor here, the relative minor of G major. Instead of only thinking about nice 2-5-1s on F sharp minor half dim, B7 flat 9 to E minor, which it repeats 3 times this 2-5-1. He wants to play a little bit more linear over it, and he kind of abandons the idea or the exact idea of a 2-5-1. He takes it as E minor and then he just imposes his own Bach-like, because I really think it's a little bit like Bach would have done, ID, and he imposes his own ID on it. This chord imposition he's doing is the most basic one you probably ever will see in music, and that's just 1, E minor being 1 in this case, 5, a B7 flat 9, and then again 1. So 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1 in a quick succession. Actually every beat it changes to the other. One thing to clarify here is that he sees the B7 as the upper structure of the B7. He actually never plays a B on the beat he's imposing the B7 flat 9. He leaves out the B, so he only stays with the upper structure, and that's actually a diminished arpeggio. So if you play a B7 flat 9, you leave out the B, then you get a very well-sounding diminished chord, which also creates the same kind of tension. You can see it exactly as a 5th degree upper structure. So what he's doing actually here, he's putting an E minor, the 1st degree, and then going to a D sharp diminished as a kind of exchange or upper structure of the 5 dominant flat 9. And then he resolves it again to 1. So let's see how he does that. So he starts first with the tension, with the diminished arpeggio going up. And then he resolves that C to the B from an E minor, and then he goes down to try it. He resolves down to the A of that D sharp dim, and he goes back up. So, and then he keeps on doing the same. He really tries to connect it in a beautiful way, I think. When he's on bar 21, for example, on the first beat, it's the diminished, and then the F sharp, the last note, really connects well as a guide tone to the G of the E minor. Then the G really leads into the F sharp, again of the D sharp dim. And then you feel it already, really, for this D sharp really leads into the E minor, which is kind of our tonal center in this bridge of this tune. And then you have a few more of those. So that's what creates this sound. It's actually just one combined sound, I think. One then to a diminished chord that fits on the 5 dominant flat 9, then back to 1. And he keeps on doing that, and then he does it in a 16th way in arpeggios. That's what Bach also might have done, how he mostly wants to impose a clear harmonic structure, for example, in his 2-part inventions. That means you can start creating patterns not just on one chord, but just in chord combinations that you just continue. And where it gets real interesting here for your own creative development is that you take the idea E minor, then D sharp dim, 2 back E minor, D sharp dim, and so on. Try the same but with a different pattern, just really maybe play a white, try it like Bach would do, so you skip 1, so you play E, then you skip the G, then you play the B, you skip again the E, and then you play the G on top, so you have actually always the 3rd on top. Sounds like this. Something like that, or you instantly start to sound like Bach a bit. But it's really limitless, guys, so. And also when you combine both chords, the E minor arpeggio and then the D sharp dim arpeggio, you get a minor harmonic sound. And you can already hear, if you just play that scale, you have actually the first part, first 5 notes are from E minor, all very good notes to hit in E minor. And the second part, starting on the B, the C natural, and then the D sharp, that really more creates the 5th dominant flat 9 sound there. So if you play just that scale, it sounds if you're doing 1-5-1. Something like that. It's a way to think about chords, and I think a more horizontal way of playing, just more long lines in the longer run. Think of melodies on a broader spectrum than just merely 2-5-1s. I like once in a while a very good 2-5-1 too. Don't understand me wrongly here, but it's also really nice to balance it out with some broader concepts that might make your melodies longer, and this really helps. So thank you, Sonny Stitt. You really helped again with pointing me in that direction of longer lines of your own kind of concepts over chords. And that's it, guys, for this lick of the week. I hope you learned a thing or two maybe, and leave me a comment. What do you like about Sonny Stitt's playing, and do you like these kind of patterns? Actually, some people really dislike patterns, and I know probably Stitt got a little bit of, people that didn't like him because it doesn't sound like improvisation. Yeah, there's a little bit of arguing about that, but I think you can practice patterns, and once in a while they do make sense. I don't think, besides this one, he's too pattern based here, and sometimes it just can sound nice when you put it in a nice context. Thank you for watching. I do another lick for our patrons, so if you're interested, hop on over to our Patreon page where we have a lot of extra stuff. My name is Jorge Reinders from Sharp 11 Music, and I'll see you at next.